COVID-19 proved that people and organizations are capable of tremendous growth under the pressure of a crisis. The challenge for many will be to sustain that momentum, to discover new ways to thrive in the long term, even as disruption constantly resets the path forward. To me, resetting the path forward with constant disruption is using the 3 R's: ready, relevant, and resilient. What does it mean to be ready, relevant, and resilient? The key lies in reskilling and upskilling. Without both, one cannot seek to reinvent oneself. In a world of constant disruption, change is the new constant now. To be ready, one needs to be skilled with the relevant abilities. Where resilience is concerned, I believe that Singapore and Singaporeans do have what it takes to survive. But is survival enough, or is there more needed to thrive?
Hi, my name is Lauren Bradbury and I'm an Executive Director with the Deloitte Consulting Southeast Asia Human Capital Practice. I specialise in helping businesses capture opportunities presented by new growth platforms, how they rethink workforce and leadership models, and improve organisational performance. Over the last 20 years, I've worked with senior leadership teams to help them build the mindsets, capabilities, and grassroots understanding required to undergo such transformational change as we're seeing today, successfully and sustainably. But before I begin, let me introduce my co-presenter, Lei Yu Han.
Thank you, Lauren. Hi, my name is Yun Han. I'm a director with Deloitte Consulting Southeast Asia Human Capital Practice and have over 15 years of experience in human capital consulting, helping business and governments in Southeast Asia with organization transformation, leadership development, and strategic change management. I'm very happy to be with you today.
Thanks, Yun Han. And as he said, we are really excited to be with you today to share our insights on how the COVID pandemic has transformed work in Singapore and critical strategies on how the individual and organisations can prepare for and thrive in the face of future disruptions. As we have all experienced, the past year has been marked by unprecedented disruption as organisations had to respond to a series of crises that would radically impact the world of work. First, the global health crisis required organisations to take fast action to protect their workers' health and safety and establish essential services to support workers in real time. After the initial focus on health and safety, organisations then had to make sweeping changes to what, where, how, and by whom work was done. Next, the pursuant economic recession required individual workers to upskill and for organisations to employ creative solutions to protect resources and avoid unnecessary furloughs and layoffs. We saw some amazing examples of what organisations and workers were capable of in 2020. Their resilience, their adaptability, and their creativity. One thing is unequivocally clear, that to navigate any disruption, we must shift our focus from a survival mindset to a thriving mindset. To support organisations and individuals, every year Deloitte releases a global human capital trends report that surveys over 5,000 businesses and HR leaders across job functions, industries, sectors, and countries. We asked executives in our survey about their experiences since the pandemic began, seeking to understand how the crisis affected the way they viewed organisational preparedness, the challenges and opportunities they expected to face in future disruptions, and their plans for approaching work transformation strategies moving forward. And for today's presentation, we'd like to focus on 3 things that are the most critical to watch in 2021. The first is beyond reskilling. The second, designing work for well-being, and the third, super teams. I'd like to invite Yun Han to share more details on the first trend, beyond reskilling, which elaborates on how we as individuals can transform our thinking and position ourselves to thrive in the current economic climate.
Thank you, Lauren. Before I start, let's have a look at one of our videos to share how you can unlock your potential by aligning your interests and passions with your organization's needs.
2020 was a year of extraordinary disruption. and workers responded with extraordinary results. The events of the past 12 months gave us a unique window into what humans are truly capable of when given the opportunity to make work for them. But unleashing human potential should not be a fleeting outcome. As we return to work in the future of work, we must ask ourselves, what should we do to continuously tap into the best of what humans can do? To answer this question, we surveyed hundreds of workers from around the world. To understand their unique perspectives on work, to capture their learnings from a year like none other, and to imagine a different way of working by simply asking, what if? Their answers point to a fundamental truth, that to produce better combinations of economic value, we must treat the workforce not as an input for the organisation's wants and needs, but rather as partners and co-creators of value in of itself. We must make work better for humans and in turn, make humans better at work. What if we could reduce the effort of doing work and redirect energy to those distinctly human activities? What if work included more opportunities for humans to express their capabilities and experiences and not just their skills? What if work could strengthen the connection between what humans do and what motivates them to do it? What if we could re-architect work to unlock the most undervalued asset of all, human potential?
The first trend in human capital that I would like to share with you today is beyond reskilling. In the past, companies and employees traditionally looked towards training or building skills in order to be prepared for the future or climb their career ladder to the next exciting role. The pandemic has upended that traditional way of thinking because it revealed that skills alone were not a predictor of how well a person can cope with the situation. Highly skilled pilots were suddenly out of the roster. Healthcare professionals were overwhelmed. Brick and mortar retailers were all scrambling to shift online. What has helped individuals, teams, and organizations survive and thrive during these times goes beyond skills. Adaptability and resiliency, together with the skills, are essential to ride the relentless waves of disruption that will be coming our way. Adaptability and resiliency are very, very closely intertwined. While resilience is the ability to bounce back when encountering challenges and difficulties, adaptability is taking those same challenging and difficult situations and adjusting to them accordingly to achieve a positive outcome. In the months of extended crisis recovery, business executives and individuals have reflected on the challenging road ahead as they attempt to prepare their businesses and themselves for an era of continuous disruption. In our Deloitte's 2021 Human Capital Trends research, executives surveyed identified the ability of their people to adapt, reskill, and assume new roles as the top-ranked item to navigate future disruptions, with 72% selecting it as the most important or second most important factor. Yet only 17% say their workers are very ready to adapt, reskill, and assume new roles. Organizations are increasingly looking at harnessing the potential of their workforce and creating environments that encourage their workforce to have more empowerment and autonomy to drive better learning, adaptability, as well as impact. We've lived in a world where we assume organizations knew best what skills workers needed to bring to the table. But the pandemic has taught us that potential comes to fuller fruition when the workforce is allowed to take more initiative. Workforce potential is not about what people were recruited to do, or what they're certified to do, or even what organizations or leaders want them to do next. It's about giving the workforce more freedom to choose how they can best help tackle critical business problems as organizations and ecosystems evolve. As the workforce of the future, we need to start preparing ourselves for the demands of the future workplace environment, moving ourselves from just being a cog in the machinery that turns when we're told, to being part of the solution in helping our organizations, customers, and communities thrive. Being adaptable and resilient has become, in other words, the must-have future-ready skills. So the key question to ask yourselves is, are you adaptable and resilient? Ask yourself, are you open to possibilities? Do you stay curious? Are you willing to make mistakes? Are you biased towards action? Are you clear on your purpose and motivation. It's not easy to answer yes to all of the above, especially in times like these. To answer yes to these questions, it is not about taking on more training courses or to learn skills, but rather it involves a genuine shift in mindset and taking a positive action that will lead to personal growth. Now, speaking about resilience, many of us now work in constantly connected, always on and highly demanding work cultures where stress and the risk of burnout are widespread. Since the pace and intensity of work culture in the new normal are unlikely to change, it is more important than ever to build resilient skills to effectively navigate your work life. This brings us to our next trend on the shift from work-life balance to well-being, which Lauren will be sharing her perspectives with you.
The COVID-19 pandemic brought home just how important wellbeing is for workers' physical and mental wellbeing, as well as to every business operation. Many organisations took really quick action to redirect resources towards making work safe and keeping workers healthy. Moving workers into remote work arrangements, implementing testing and contact tracing strategies for on-site workers, and establishing new programs for emergency medical leave, childcare and elder care support, and physical, mental and financial health. Today, it is important for organisations to recognise the inextricable link among our wellbeing, our work and our lives, and the need to design new ways to incorporate wellbeing into work itself. However, in the Human Capital Trends survey, we found a continuing disconnect between employers and workers when it comes to prioritising wellbeing in work transformation efforts. To bridge this disconnect, organisations can consider adapting to a hybrid workforce model that will help organisations rethink how work is done by finding the best fit in terms of when and where work takes place and how and what work is completed. This can be executed through these 6 initiatives. Number 1 is recruiting. We need to revamp our sourcing and attraction strategies and adjust our employee value proposition and employment branding strategies. The second, how we bring people on board. We need to implement virtual onboarding delivery methods to reduce costs and allow for individual tailored onboarding experiences. And then we need to teach them how to operate. So the third is learning. We need to reskill talent and create a new learning culture to ensure that learning is integrated into the flow of work, not just a nice to have. 4, how we manage people, performance management. We need to relook at performance goals as needed and manage those by goals or outcomes versus direct observation of seeing people in the office. Number 5, how we communicate and how we collaborate. We must implement technology solutions to improve communication, to increase collaboration and connectivity between employees. And this helps lead to number 6, your wellbeing. We must analyse the current wellbeing strategies and identify areas for improvement and optimisation of the organisation's offerings. Now, considering the many different types of employees in the workforce, optimising the human experience will be a key piece of any workforce solution moving forward. The people of the organisation will be a key piece of the hybrid solution, including their roles, their functions, and their individual needs. Understanding their personas will enable them to be more effective employees at work, no matter the location or mode of work itself. For example, we have the virtual native, the family flexer, an on-site resident, an on-the-go warrior, a flex convert, and a digital teamer. And using these parameters to customise your best scenario in the workplace. And it makes it easier to form teams based on worker preferences, working styles, and personal needs as mentioned above. We need to design work environments to support workers' physical, mental, and emotional health needs. And for you, the individual, you should take the initiative in setting your own boundaries and making your own wellbeing needs really highly understood. You can help provide input into the efforts to develop these flexible and responsive policies and practices that balance your individual needs with those of the team and the organisation. Here are some suggestions on how you can make your wellbeing needs understood. The first, be proactive and be vocal about your wellbeing needs. The second, check in frequently, proactively and consistently with your colleagues on how they're going, their wellbeing needs and how they like to work. The third, actually leverage wearable technologies and apps to help master distractions, increase mindfulness, and attempt to reduce anxiety. By integrating workers' physical, mental, financial, and social health into the design of work itself, organisations can motivate people to give their best when on the job. And now I'd like to pass it back to Yunhan to bring you through the final strategy, super teams, where work happens.
To echo what Lauren mentioned about well-being, it really is about moving towards jobs that are fundamentally more human. In order to create jobs that are fundamentally more human, technology plays a key role. There has always been the debate as to whether the rise in technology would create a net gain or a net loss of jobs. In my opinion, there will always be jobs for humans, and this is because there is simply no limit to the desire of humans for something more, something different, or something better. 10 years ago, we could never have imagined jobs that exist today, like YouTubers, influencers, AI trainers, drone operators, and data scientists. In the past, technology inventions such as the steam engine, the telegraph, the automobile revolutionized work and human lives to enable us to be more productive and to bring people closer together. Like today, the advent of those technologies brought about fear of job losses and that machines are taking over. As time has told, those fears were proven to be unfounded. Today, we see the rise of what we call super teams at the workplace. Super teams involve combinations of people and technology, leveraging in their complementary capabilities to pursue outcomes at a speed and scale not otherwise possible. Most respondents of our 2020 survey said they view artificial intelligence or AI mainly as an automation tool, a substitute for manual labor, rather than a way to augment or collaborate with human capabilities. However, this view is starting to change. Executives who responded to our 2021 Deloitte Human Capital Trends survey recognize that the use of technology and people is not an either-or choice, but a both-and partnership. This big payoff from super teams is not just that they can get work done faster and cheaper. Rather, their greatest value lies in their potential to re-architect work using technology to change the nature of work so that it makes the most of people's distinctly human capabilities. Now, you might be someone who feels a sense of trepidation when it comes to adopting new technology, and you might instinctively resist technological changes being introduced at the workplace. Hearing some of the technological trends such as AI, cloud computing, cryptocurrency, cybersecurity, blockchain, robotics, UI UX, 5G, VR, AR, big data, and IoT would be overwhelming to many of us. The acronyms alone would cause some of us to run away and hide in the comfort of the familiar. However, here is some food for thought. The vast majority of us have one or more smartphones that help us stay connected, provide information at our fingertips, and even do our shopping at the tap of a finger. And guess what? All these technological trends that I mentioned earlier, you are already actively using most of them in your day-to-day life. So who is to say that you cannot adopt new technology? While it doesn't mean that all of us have to go on and on to learn coding, it does mean that we should adopt the mindset that sees technology as an ally that can augment our distinctly human capabilities to do more than what is thought possible. So here's one example where technology can be used to enhance people's natural powers of judgment. The insurance industry is now experimenting with artificial intelligence and predictive modeling to evolve the traditional underwriter role. The job of the insurance underwriter is really to evaluate the risk and exposures of potential clients. They decide how much coverage a client should receive, how much they should pay for it, or whether even to accept the risk and insure them. It is a very complex job with a lot of information to process, and this is where AI, or artificial intelligence, can greatly help the underwriter perform their job better. As the application processing moves closer to the point of sale, AI can provide data-driven suggestions to increase underwriters' ability to make informed decisions about risk. These exponential underwriters don't have to become tech experts or data scientists to use and benefit from the technology. They only need to understand how and when to leverage AI-assisted solutions to accomplish the work more effectively, fulfilling their role in the human-to-machine collaboration. There are many more examples where technologies are augmenting teams in such a way that it helps the team achieve far greater outcomes. And more organizations are looking into harnessing technologies in a way that fundamentally reimagines how work is done. Our 2021 Global Human Capital Trends Survey showed that executives are shifting their focus away from work optimization and redesign towards work reimagination, where executives saying that they are focusing on reimagining work shifted from 29% before the pandemic now to 61% going forward. The workforce of the future is one that's comfortable and curious about technology, and constantly exploring ways in which technology can be used to improve the way we do things at work and at home. Technology is only a threat if you choose to run away from it. As a famous cyborg once said, "I'll be back." Wherever you are in your career, be it at mid-career or perhaps just entering the job market, be aware and have an appreciation for the technological trends in your respective industries and your jobs. And lastly, prepare yourself to be part of a super team, where humans and technology come together to deliver amazing and greater outcomes for the team, the organization, and the communities around us.
Today, we shared our perspective on 3 human capital trends and workforce strategies that will help you shift from surviving to thriving to prepare yourselves in the midst of any uncertainties. Beyond reskilling, designing work for well-being, and of course, super teams. As we mentioned, beyond reskilling, what you need in order to thrive in such volatile times is that we establish that workers need to go beyond reskilling to ride the relentless waves of disruption. You need to be adaptable and resilient. And in order to be adaptable and resilient, you need to A, be open to possibilities, B, stay curious, be willing to make mistakes, take action, and be clear on your purpose and motivation. Secondly, we look at the importance of designing work for well-being and how integrating well-being into the design of work at the individual, team, and organizational levels will build a sustainable future where workers can feel and perform at their best. To do this, to build well-being into work, the following things should be considered. Well-being can motivate people to give their best when on the job. It provides discretionary effort. Secondly, organisation and leaders need to invest, promote, and commit to designing well-being into work itself. Individuals should also take the initiative, ensuring their well-being needs are understood, are heard, and you can participate in the development of new work policies. And finally, we looked at how you can reimagine work by leveraging technology to amplify your contributions to new and better outcomes at work. The third we spoke about was super teams, actually where work happens. So we need to think through how technology can augment human work and help you achieve the same work outputs more efficiently. We need to move from optimization and redesign to reimagination. Organizations and workers must also change the way they're leveraging technology in their daily work. We've now come to the end of our presentation, and if you'd like to learn more about our global human capital trends research, you can visit our website at www.deloitte.com/HC-trends or scan the QR code in this slide to get access to our full repository of research. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to continuing this conversation with you.